Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 5th September 2024. Okay, so let's get started with our discussion. So here there are more than 10 articles we are going to see in this class. So see the first image. So can you identify what this image is about? Yes, Tarang Shakti 2024. So even on this Tarang Shakti, I also made around 2 to 3 minutes video, okay, in our YouTube channel. So I think many of you might knowing about that. So actually this image which depicts about phase 2. So phase 1 of Tarang Shakti has been done, and now this article it is about phase 2. So now tell me, what is this Tarang Shakti is about? It is air exercise or military exercise or navy exercise? It is international air exercise. So which had been done with different countries. And here you have to see, so what this exercise is about, so how many phases we have, and you have to see what are the significant, so what we are going to get after this exercise. So all these things are very important, and especially from these exercises you will be getting prelims based question, okay, not mains based question. So actually, so this exercise, it is designed to enhance your strategic relations and even to improve interoperability between the two countries, and even we want to showcase our indigenous technologies with the other countries. So because of this, it is very important. And actually phase 1 had been done in month of August in Tamil Nadu. And in that phase 1, so countries like France, Germany, Spain and UK had been participated. And this exercise is very important because for the first time on Indian soil, we have this Germany, okay, Germany Air Force. So because of this, it is very significant. And in the phase 2, that is from 1st to 14th September in Rajasthan. And here which countries are participating? Here we have Australia, Bangladesh, Greece, Singapore, UAE, USA. Okay, so these are the countries which are participating in this phase 2. So what is the importance of this Tarang Shakti 2024? So what we are going to get? If you are conducting this kind of multilateral air exercises, so we can boost our military cooperation with other countries. Yes, okay, so because this exercise is involving different countries, so because of this we can increase our mutual understanding between the countries, and even we can improve our defense strategies and as well as operations. And next one is, even we can showcase our India's defense industry for other countries. So you know that recently we started exporting of our defense equipment for other countries like BrahMos to Philippines, right? So here, because of this, whenever we are showcasing our defense industry, so we can also have the scope of increasing of our exports to other countries. So this is also one important thing. And even we can also align with our India's policy of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat is nothing but self-reliant India. So if you are becoming self-reliant in defense industry, especially we can improve our defense production, and even we can improve the trade with other countries regarding this defense products. And even we can increase our strategic relationship with other countries by these exercises. And we can also improve operational efficiencies between the countries. And even we can also get the world's best practices as well. So say this article, Modi take aim at China in Brunei, says India does not back expansionism. As we all know that China is famous for, what is this word? Aggressive expansionist policy. Aggressive means not adding. So if someone is angry, we will be saying he's aggressive. So if you see some fierce dog, we can say it is aggressive dog. So what is the meaning of aggressive? Aggressive means it have the capability to show violence. So it is evident. As you all know that China is having issues with many countries in both maritime arena and as well as continental arena. In both maritime arena and continental. Continental means it is sharing boundary with land. So whenever it is sharing boundary with water or sea or anything, so that is called as maritime area. So you know about the South China Sea, right? So in South China Sea, China is having disputes with number of countries are sharing boundary with South China Sea. So there China came up with a concept called as 9-dash line. So what is this 9-dash line? Any idea? Okay, I will explain this concept. So for example, this is China. So this is South China Sea. So we know this concept like UNCLOS, right? What is this UNCLOS? United Nations Convention of Law of Seas. So according to this UNCLOS, till 200 nautical miles, it comes under exclusive economic zone. And beyond this, it comes under area called as high seas. So high seas is called as international waters, or it is part of global commons, right? So every country is having right in this high sea area. But till this 200 nautical miles, so it is sovereignty of that certain country. So what here China is doing is, China is building some artificial islands, okay, by using cement water technology it is having. By using that technology, it is building artificial islands in sea, in the South China Sea. And if this so and so area which is territory of China, so here till this 200 nautical miles, so it is a jurisdiction of China, right? So because of this in South China Sea, so it built some islands and said that entire this area comes under jurisdiction of China. So this line is called as 9-dash line. And this case went to International Court of Justice, ICJ, International Court of Justice. And just this court also said that it is not fair, okay, but even though China is not following the judgment of ICJ. So this is the issue. And here, what is an example of Chinese expansionist policy? So you can write about string of pearls. So what is a string of pearls? China is developing ports in different countries where it is increasing its influence in other countries. Can you tell me some names of ports in other countries? Hambantota Port, Gwadar Port in Pakistan, in Myanmar, Chittagong Port in Bangladesh, in Iran. In Iran, we have Chabahar Port that had been developed by India to counter this Gwadar Port. Apart from this, in Djibouti, so you have to know the countries where China is developing its ports under the string of pearls. To counter this string of pearls, so India came up with fish hook policy, and as well as necklace of diamonds. Okay, so you have to see this. So now let us see this article. You all know that from last 2 days we are discussing this topic of India's Prime Minister visit to Brunei. So where is this Brunei located? Is it part of? It is part of Asia. So here Brunei plays a very important role in ASEAN. ASEAN is a grouping. So in that ASEAN, whether India is a part or not, India is part. In ASEAN, India is not a part, okay? But if you want to increase India's influence in this kind of organization where India is not part, we can make good relations with any of that countries, so that obviously India's influence can be increased in that group. So that is the thing we are mainly focusing on. So here India supports development, not expansionism. So India wants to counter China in this meet of India and Brunei, and he said that we are always focusing on development, but we are not focusing on expansion like China. Okay, so actually China, why India's focused on China? Because of increasing of China's influence in South China Sea and as well as Indo-Pacific region. So because of this, India wants to take this stand on this China. So Prime Minister, during his visit to Brunei, he emphasized on India's stance on against this expansionist policy, and especially India is targeting China's 9-dash line and as well as artificial islands in this South China Sea. And even there are many issues in the South China Sea, that is between China and Japan, China and Philippines, like that. And actually he focused that we need peaceful dispute resolution mechanism in this region. So as you all know that India and China are also having issues at which region? LAC, line of actual control. And even recently we discussed that more than 31 rounds of talks had happened, but there is no proper dispute resolution happened in case of India. So it is also one important problem that we are facing directly with China. And next one is, if you see why Brunei is important. So yesterday we discussed about this topic. First one is because of, because of LNG, which helpful for our energy security. Next one is Brunei is also playing a very important role in strategic location, okay, because it is sharing boundary with Indo-Pacific region. And next, even it is member of Asia, right? And we are also having good historical ties between Brunei. And even we are having good technological partnership with Brunei in Asia continent. And even LNG is very helpful for our energy security. And even here in this discussion between here Brunei and India, they focused on UNCLOS, because we have to use this UNCLOS if we are having any dispute in maritime arena. So that is not following by China. So because of this point, India took a stand that we are focusing on development but not expansionist policy. Okay, and if you see where is Brunei located, so here we have South China Sea, okay, and here we are having this Brunei, and below this we have Malaysia and we have Indonesia, and here this part is called as Strait of Malacca. So have you heard about the Strait of Malacca? So what is the Strait of Malacca? What is the meaning of strait? Okay, so we are having two large water bodies. If a small water body which is connecting two large water bodies, we are calling it as strait. So Strait of Malacca is one of the important choke point. Do you know about this meaning of choke point? So these are the points which are very important for trade. So there are majorly 3 to 4 choke points in the world. So one important choke point is Strait of Malacca. If someone who is occupying this means, it will be impacting trade, global economical trade. And global economy will be affected if someone who is controlling the Strait of Malacca. So because of this, we are calling it as a choke point, very important. And say this article, okay, let us see about this India-Brunei relations. So diplomatic relations between India and Brunei, they established in year 1984 itself, okay. And next one here is, so this year 2024, which marks 40th anniversary of establishment of relations. So in history, you can predict questions based on anniversaries, like if it is 25th anniversary, if it is 50th anniversary, 100th anniversary, 125th anniversary, 150th anniversary, then you will be getting questions. So this year, if you are writing prelims, so many of you are writing prelims, right? So this year is 2024. So if you go back to 100 years back, 1924, you have to see what are the events of 1924. So there will be 100% question from 1924 events. And if you go to 125 years back, so what is the year? So you have to see that year contributions. And 150 years back, what is the year? So you have to focus on this way so that at least 1 or 2 questions from your history will be based on this. Okay, you have to follow this strategy. And next, if you see here, India and Brunei, they are members, they are common members in some groups, like United Nations, like in this non-alignment movement, which we came up in 1960s, and even in Commonwealth, and in this Actist policy, and Indo-Pacific vision, and this Lookist policy, where India and Brunei, they are both common members. And you have to see this one also, like you can get prelims question like, consider the following countries which are common members of ASEAN, which are common members of RCEP, which are the following are common members of SAARC. So in that way also you can get question in your prelims. You should not be confused at all in this members. And actually Brunei is India's key partner in ASEAN region, because country is coordinating in ASEAN-India relations from June 2012 onwards to 2015 onwards. And even Brunei also one of the participant country in our India's program, that is India's Nalanda University endeavor. So Nalanda University is famous for what? Do you have any idea where it is located? Even recently this Nalanda University is in news. Okay. Okay, apart from that, so try to see why this Nalanda University is in news. So see this article, latest ILO study links AI to dip in labor income. So recently, I think 2 days ago, we discussed one article like how AI can be used to improve economy and employment. So that comes under a little bit part of our bio E3 policy as well. So here again one article which is highlighted by ILO. What is this ILO? Not India, International Labour Organization. So now International Labour Organization one study, it said that because of using of AI, it will reduce labor income. So what is the relationship between AI and labor income? Tell me now. Am I making any sense? Okay, tell me what is the relationship between ILO study which says AI is proportional, whether it is directly proportional or indirectly proportional. Okay, so how does AI will decrease labor's income? Okay, if it replaces the manpower, it will increase unemployment. But how labor income? Think. Come on, you have that capability, you have to think. So if you start thinking, then only you will be getting ideas and you can write mains answer. Or unless and until you think, you will be not getting ideas. A labor income will decrease. How? Come on. Economy is going on. How income is related to AI? Yeah, because half of the work is done by AI. So, okay, demand for labor will be decreased. Next, automatically value decrease. Wow, what if? Okay, so from which subject we can discuss this? Okay, economy GS paper 3 and science and technology GS paper 3. And so what happens if income is decreased? It will again rises what problems? Poverty, hunger, malnutrition, quality education, everything. So can we achieve the sustainable development goals? So yesterday I gave you one question. Main question is, what is that main question? Agriculture digital mission. Okay, digital agriculture mission, how it is going to helpful to achieve sustainable development goals. But if you see this kind of reports, are you getting any doubt here? Yesterday itself you wrote answer like we are going to achieve this sustainable development 1, 2, 8, 12, 9. Yes. Yes, here we are decreasing. So always you have to think that every coin is having two sides. So we will be having positives and negatives. So from the positive sides, you can write about digital agriculture mission, and negative sides you can write about this ILO. So what is my point here is whenever you're writing answer, you should take a balanced view because we will be writing both positives and negatives. That is the point I want to convey by taking this article. Clear? Okay, now let us see what this report is saying. The ILO's latest study reveals that artificial intelligence is contributing to declining of global labor income. So whenever labor income is decreasing, what happens? Inequality will be rising. And even we discussed one article, right? Like income inequality is increasing in our country. So to decrease that income inequality, we said that we have to focus on education, training, and health facilities, whatnot. So here, from there also we can add this article that because of this using of AI, it can also further increase our income inequality. Getting the points? So every day's current affairs you have to connect, interconnect. So whenever you are interconnecting the things, then only you can write a very good answer and you can clear this UPSC. Okay? Yes, now let us see here, because of this using of AI, it is also increases inequality and many youth will become unemployed. Okay, so what we need? We need proper robust policy measures and we have to focus on predicting on wages when we are using this AI. We need to have a proper study and proper policy so that we can address this problem. So actually this article is also saying that due to this COVID-19 pandemic, so that led many countries to incorporate technologies, AI, because of decreasing of use of manpower and to decrease the transmission of this virus from one people to another people and to decrease the economic loss for that so and so organization, they started using this AI. Because of that, further inequality had been increased in our country. So this is about this report. So now let us see the key points. AI's role in labor income decline. So there is rise of AI technologies. So whenever we are using this AI technologies, obviously the productivity can be increased, but it also undermines labor income share, particularly especially low income workers. They will be losing their life, and their trend will be going to be worsened. There will be increasing of unemployment in these lower income workers. So it is not going to create much impact on skilled workers. It may be, but on unskilled workers, obviously it will cause lot of impact. And these people, they are already vulnerable. And because of using of AI, vulnerable people are getting much more vulnerable. Okay, that will lead to increasing of further more problems for our countries like India. Okay, and even youth, they are getting disengagement. So large segment of youth remains outside the labor market. They are highlighting a critical gap in education, and even they don't have proper skills required, and even they don't have opportunities for proper vocational training as well. So this problem needs to be addressed urgently by our government. And this one here is there is also a problem of stagnation of labor income. So labor income share has not only stagnated, but also even this labor income had been declined since 2019. So because of this, the benefits are not reaching the workers effectively. So this is also one important problem. And due to this COVID-19 pandemic, actually there is acceleration. There is the fast rate of declining of labor income had happened. So because of this, there is long lasting effects on economy and as well as workforce. And even there is rising of concerns of inequality. Okay, there is no policy which is ensuring in our country which says about fair distribution of economic gains. And this one is we need to focus on proper policy response. It is urgent need now. And even because of these things, we can understand that the sustainable development goals, the target year is by 2030. So we cannot or we may not reach that target if we are having this trend of using of AI in the business. Okay, clear? So what is this ILO, International Labour Organization, which is Tripartite United Nations Agency, when it was formed in year 1919. So what was the major event that happened in 1919 in our history? Any idea? Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So what happened in this Jallianwala Bagh massacre? So British general, that is General O'Dwyer, he went for mass killings. So why these people, uh, they had been gathered at a place in a park in Amritsar? Because of Rowlatt Act. Okay, so you have to connect at least whenever you're reading any organization, so what is that year and what was happened in our country at that time, so that you can make some interlinking. Okay, so what are the objectives of this ILO? So it wants to promote standards and fundamental principles, and they want to focus on the rights of workers and to create greater opportunities for women and as well as men to ensure decent employment, and wants to enhance coverage and effectiveness of social protection, and even they want to improve the social dialogue. And even one more thing you have to focus is which are the reports released by ILO and what are those reports which released in 2024 if you're preparing for 2025, and you can use that data while writing your answers essay wherever it is possible. Use that. Okay, and what are the functions of this ILO? So it will be coming up with policies and programs so that it will be addressing these issues of labor in any country because it is international organization. And this one is we are also following this international labor standards. For example, we can come with conventions, we can focus on recommendations, and we can also focus on controlling and implementation of the policies. And even it will be taking the help from the member countries so that we'll be solving the problems of that so and so country. And this one is even it will be focusing on protection of human rights. But how? By protection of right to work, by giving the freedom of association, and they will be focusing on even collective negotiation with the countries, and even they are focusing on protection against forced labor and protection against discrimination. So by these things here, ILO is also focusing on protection of human rights. So whenever you are writing about an answer regarding human rights protection, one thing that will come to your mind is National Human Rights Commission or State Human Rights Commission. So apart from this, you can also write about this ILO. And you can say through these things, your ILO is also promoting the human rights. So you will be having some grace. Okay, clear? See this article, Center Tripura signed peace accord with insurgent groups in state. So as you all know that insurgency is very high in Northeast. So what are the important reasons for high insurgency in this northeast region? Naxalite comes under this red corridor, it is in the central part. But this Tripura, Nagaland, so in these regions, there is high insurgency. There are violent militant groups that are operating in this. Do you know about ULFA? No idea. Okay, so that you will be reading in your internal security. So after this economy, you will be starting with that only. Okay, that will be very interesting. So how these groups they had formed, how they are running against the government. So what are the actions they will be taking? What are the motives? What are the ideologies they are following? So everything will be very different from one group to another group. That you will be enjoying that class. Okay, so see what happened here is, so there are some insurgent groups in this Tripura, and from last one decade means 10 years, from last 10 years onwards, our government is trying a lot to decrease this insurgency in this northeastern region. And finally, so this is the third time in last 10 years, government made agreement with this Tripura's insurgent groups. So this is the thing, as of now, remember this in your internal security classes. Sandeep sir will be taking all those things, okay? So here if you see this context, it says that center, Tripura government and other insurgency groups which are operating in this Assam, or the first one is LLFT and next one is ATTF, they signed a peace accord. So in this peace accord, our Union Home Minister announced that over 300 insurgents, they will be abandoned violence and they will be coming out of that so-and-so group and they will be mingle up with the mainstream society. So this is about this agreement. Okay, so and this agreement which also says that they are focusing on improving of development in this Tripura and as well as northeast region, and they also came up with increasing of package of 250 crore rupees for the tribal population, especially in this northeastern region. So it is mainly fully without of hilly terrain because they are extension of our Himalayas, right? So we're also calling it as Purvanchals, right? So and because of this hilly areas, so it is very thick forest will be there in this northeast. So especially tribal people, they are dominant in these areas. So for the tribal development, so they came up with this package so that whenever we are developing this tribal areas, so they will be not supporting this insurgent groups in this area. So this is the idea behind this agreement. And if you see the key points that you have to learn here, so here government is focusing on peace. And first they want to sign the peace agreement, and finally they have to integrate those people who are supporting this insurgent groups with the mainstream society, so that we can ensure unity and as well as stability in this Tripura. And do you know about this AFSPA, Armed Forces Special Police Act, AFSPA? So actually, so this act came up by the government to ensure peace in this northeastern region and in Tripura, which had been withdrawn in year 2015. Okay, so you have to know about even what is this AFSPA, Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Okay, so I will be giving you the information regarding this AFSPA today in your group. Okay, see here, government is also committed. So actually, our government emphasized that it is focusing on development rather than coming up of this deployment of military. So if government want to come up or control that area, obviously it will be imposing this military order. So here government is controlling that by imposing this AFSPA. So actually in 2015 itself, this AFSPA had been withdrawn in this Tripura region, and actually they want to focus on development of these tribal areas rather than deploying this military deployment, so that we can focus on the progress of the society. And next one here is we are also focusing on culture preservation. So especially when we are focusing on this preserving of this tribal culture and their identity, it is very, very important because we are considering this tribal heritage as one of our rich culture heritage of our country, that you will be understanding in your anthropology. So how they are maintaining their culture, okay? And actually many tribal people, they are thriving to save their culture. Okay, next one here is government is focusing on increasing of investment, especially to decrease this problem of socio-economic disparities, and even government wants to promote this sustainable growth and wants to reduce the conflicts. Okay, so these things that you can remember. And see this article, South Africa and India Inc. Pact on Submarines Rescue Mission. So what is this submarines? Where they are present? Underwater. What exactly the meaning of submarines? What we can do by using the submarines? Okay, tell me what we can do by using submarines. So tell me what are the applications of submarines? Science and technology is done, no? Tell me. So tell me at least types of submarines. It is a ship which is present even at undersea is called as submarine. So what it will do? So tell me the types. We have diesel powered submarines and second one is nuclear powered submarines. So actually here India and South Africa, they came up with an agreement, and this agreement to enhance submarine rescue mission. That means whenever submarine needs help, so here South Africa and India can exchange this services of repairing of the submarines. Okay. Okay, now let us see this article. So here you have to know about what is submarine. Types we have diesel and nuclear submarines, and what are the advantages of this nuclear power submarines over diesel power submarines, because some submarines they will be coming to the surface, okay, regularly, but some submarines they don't need to come to the surface. So whenever they are coming to surface, what happen, our enemy countries can detect them and they can bomb them. So because of this it will cause a huge loss to our country, right? So here recently navies of India and South Africa, they signed an implementation of agreement, and this agreement is focusing on enhancing submarine rescue support operation, and in this they are focusing on especially providing of safety for this South African Navy submarine crew in the times of distress or accident. If there is any time of distress or any accident, here India can go and India can provide some aid and assistance to South Africa. So why India can play this kind of role? Again, the reason here is global south. Only one reason, that is global south. So wherever you can use this word global south, you can use this Viksit Bharat, and you can use sustainable development goals. So these three things you can write without any hesitation in your conclusion. And see the important points. Under this agreement, Indian Navy will provide assistance by developing its deep submarines rescue vehicle. So how we are going to identify the submarines is by using this deep submergence rescue vehicle. So by using that, if the submarine is located even 1000 meters from the surface of sea, we can identify that and we can go that place and we can give some rescue operations, we can do that. So how this agreement will be helpful? So this agreement will be helpful for providing maritime safety, and even we can provide mutual support, okay, between India and South Africa. So what is a submarine rescue system? So what it will consist of? It consists of some important equipment regarding submarine rescue. It is having vehicles, it is having sonar, and it is also having other equipment. And even in this rescue system, we will be having some medical equipment, so that if the people who are in this submarine, if they had been injured, means we have to obviously need some medical equipment. So all these things will be there, so that we can use these equipments, we can rescue this sunken submarines. Okay, so by using this DSRV system of India, we can rapidly mobilize by using air or by using road or any other methods. We can reach the distant locations very fastly, and we can identify or we can locate the submarines up to 1000 meters underwater by using this sonar radiations. Okay, so in this way we can provide some emergency supplies or emergency rescue system if there is any problem to the submarine of South Africa. And say this article, 90% projects under smart cities mission completed. Okay, so what is a smart cities mission? Have you heard this? What is this mission is about? What is the meaning of smart city? Somebody says that you are very smart. What is the meaning of smart? Looking good, talking well, or answering well, or intelligent. So what exactly comes into this smart? Smart cities. What is the meaning of smart cities? Is Hyderabad a smart city? Is Delhi a smart city? So what are the components that is required to say any city as a smart city? Employment, education, next. So have you ever searched about this? What are the components of a smart city? Yes or no? So whenever you're reading schemes, at least Google what is the meaning of that. What is the criteria to be set if a city is to be called as a smart city? So don't go and blindly by heart the things. It will be not useful. Uh. Okay, so let me explain this. So actually, under this program of Smart Cities Mission, so more than 90% of projects had been done in our country. So here, under the Smart Cities Mission, we are focusing on improving of quality of life in urban spaces, and especially this scheme had been implemented by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. It is very important. So actually, remaining 10% projects had been delayed because of legal issues and because of lack of obtaining clearances and because of land acquisition challenges, because of construction in hilly areas. So because of all these challenges, so 10% had been delayed, but overall 90% had been completed. So actually this scheme, it is a centrally sponsored scheme when it had been launched in year 2015, and the important aim it is to transform 100 cities to provide necessary core infrastructure, and especially they are focusing on clean and sustainable environment. Okay, so what are the objectives? You can see these objectives. So I want to show this thing. So city-wide smart solution. So when we can call a city as a smart city is if they are having these things. So if they are having a proper e-governance and citizen services like public information, grievance redressal, electronic service delivery, whenever there is proper citizen engagement, citizen city eyes and ears, and this one is proper waste management, waste to energy, waste to fuel, waste to compost, waste water, how they are treating, and recycle and reduction of waste, and how they are managing the water. And next one is how they are focusing on energy management, urban mobility, and others. If they are having all these components, we can call it as a smart city. And you have to know this. It is a basic criteria. Even in your interview also, you can get this question. So how can you consider a city as a smart? So what is the criteria? So you have to at least try to tell 3 to 4 points. There should not be num, right? Okay. So whatever the articles there in our editorials already we done in our earlier classes. So let me show. So first one is World Bank growth prognosis for India mood some policy shifts. So actually in yesterday's class we discussed that there is increasing of projection of World Bank from 6.6% to 7%. Why? The same thing which is given here. So yesterday's article is more than enough to see this. And this one is sub-classification verdict through Ambedkar ideals. So what is this talking about? uh, Sub-classification of SCs and STs, and I made a separate video regarding the series of judgments regarding this. So there is nothing much important. You have to see the series of judgments and you have to say just what are advantages and what are disadvantages. That's it. So already I think you are in a position to analyze what are advantages and disadvantages. So there is no need of explanation, right? Say this next article. Death for rape. In our yesterday's class, we discussed about this Aprajita Women and Child West Bengal Criminal Laws Amendment Bill of 2024. So, what are the provisions of this bill? Yesterday class we discussed that, yes. And even you have to see what are the advantages and disadvantages, or else what measures can we take to improve the safety of women in our country. Clear? There is no need of discussion, right? Yes or no? Tell me. Next, one more article is gap between allocations for health and outcomes in state. So already you know that government is coming up with number of schemes. For example, we have central sector schemes, we have centrally sponsored schemes in health. So what is our spending in this health according to our GDP? So what is the global target? I gave you this work earlier, I think so. So actually here this article is saying that, so there is very less spending on this health in our country. So because of this, we are having very poor health outcomes. So here, are you in the condition to give what are the measures can be taken? So that is the thing which is given here. Okay, next topic here is why HP raised, that is Himachal Pradesh raised the marriageable age for women. So recently we discussed an article that the age for marriage for women in Himachal Pradesh had been increased from 18 years to 21 years. So normally what is the legal age for boys or men? Men is 21, for women it is 18. Now it had been increased to 21. For both men or women, irrespective of a gender, we have this 21 years. That means what can you understand? Yes, gender equality. Very good. Next, fundamental rights of right to equality. So that is the thing which is given here, nothing more than that. Same thing. And say this article, okay, so this is new one. So already in our earlier classes, I said about Nicobar development projects. What is that? Ports, next airports. Yeah, based on the physical, actually there is some consumption that women they will be ahead compared to that of male like 3 to 4 years, but it is not yet scientifically proved. Many people they say that women will be thinking far ahead compared to that of men. So if I say something here, that male will come and beat me. Yes or no? Okay. So see here. So see this article. So in our earlier classes, I said about Nicobar development. So what is this Nicobar development is about? Infrastructure development, tourism, hotels, resorts, uh, next transport. So what happens if you're going with development in this ecologically sensitive areas? Uh, Landslides. Actually, there is one article regarding landslides, Nagaland landslides. So actually, I forgot to add that article. So you have to make note of recently where the landslide had happened, because you can give examples in your environment, in your geography, in your disaster management. So you have to maintain a list of this kind of disasters where they had happened. So actually, this article is saying that so we have this Andaman Nicobar Islands Integrated Development Corporation, and it is a project proponent for Niti Aayog. Actually, Niti Aayog came up with a project of mega infrastructure in this Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So they are focusing on transshipment port. They are focusing on green airport or greenfield airport. So what is the difference between greenfield and brownfield? I said this. So whenever you're going for first hand project is called as greenfield. So if you're going for renovation, that is called as brownfield. So actually in this Andaman and Nicobar, we are focusing on greenfield airport. That means new airport construction. And this one is we are focusing on tourism, township projects. So all these things that you have to focus. And just you have to think that what will be the impact either economically or either societal point of view, either like environment point of view, what will be the impact? That's the thing that you have to focus. That's it. So all these text and context and as well as editorial it is of only old topics. So because of this I took the new topics from other news session and world part. Okay, so I think you have understood. So I took more than 12 articles in this class. Okay, that's all guys. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class and share this class and subscribe to Rathods IS Academy.